Guess who's back? Back again. Ellie's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Alright, showing my age, but I am back in the YouTube universe. Hey! So sorry, it's been a hot minute. Life has been crazy. But in a really good way. Like, business is rapidly expanding, the team is growing, all sorts of magical kick-ass things are happening. Which is actually what I want to talk to you guys about today, alright? So here lately with like this rapid expansion, okay, like, I'm making great progress on my book, yay. My team is up, 176% over last year. Rocking it. My personal retail sales is up 46% over last year. Y'all, crushing it. Okay. This is all good things. Okay. But a lot of what I've been hearing lately is like, you need to make your goals realistic. Are you being logical, Ellie? Is it really feasible to grow like that? You're also moving across the country, Ellie. Like, don't you think you should slow it down while you move? If you have people in your life that talk to you like that, they need to leave, okay? Like, immediately, ASAP. Conveniently for me, mostly the only people who talk to me in that form or fashion are people that I don't talk to very often anyways. This is why. Okay? And then a lot of what I'm hearing as I'm like diversifying my streams of income, I'm looking at playing in the stock market, I'm looking at playing with realty, all sorts of other like fun stuff that I'm super stoked about. A lot of what I'm hearing is look before you leap. Have y'all ever heard that before? Look before you leap. Why? The only time in life that you should look before you leap is when it comes to toilet paper, okay? Like, that's the only time. Like, make sure there is toilet paper, especially if you're in a public restroom. Make sure there is toilet paper, like, somewhere in the nearby vicinity, okay, before you cop a squat. That's the only time in life you should look before you leap, all right? Every other time in your life, whether it is business, your personal relationships, your education, your personal development, you know, weight loss, exercise, blah, blah, blah. Leap before you look. Every time. Leap before you look. Okay? For a plethora, that means a lot of reasons, okay? Okay. First of all, one, typically, looking before you leap is related to acclimation, getting comfortable, and it's super freaking time consuming, okay? Like, imagine, this is our metaphor for today, all right? Imagine you're standing on the shoreline of the ocean, right? And you're gonna look before you leap into the ocean. Well, if you're standing on the shoreline, you're not elevated enough to actually look, which is generally how most change happens in your life, is you're not elevated enough to see where you're going until you're there. So if you're standing on the shoreline, you're not really going to be able to see into the water anyways. And even if you are going to be able to see into the water, you're not going to be able to see very far. So what? You're going to like tiptoe out and you're going to step into the water up to your ankles and then your knees and then your thighs and then your waist and then your chest and then you're going to leap? That is so time consuming. That is a huge waste of time. Also, it's a lot more painful to acclimate your body that way. Your body actually acclimates faster if you just run and jump into the cold ass water or whatever the temperature difference is. Your body actually acclimates faster if you leap before you look. Just like with anything else in your life, if you run and you jump into it, you will acclimate faster to it. Okay, so that's reason number one. Leap before you look. Reason number two, okay, is that while you're standing on the shore getting ready, there are people like myself who are going to run and jump every time, okay? I'm going to run, I'm going to jump, I'm not going to look at what's in the water, all right? I'm just going to run and jump, okay? When it comes to things like business, life, education, those people who just run and jump tend to be more successful. Also, If you're taking your time and you're acclimating and there's a group of us running and jumping, there's going to be a lot less for you to have if you're looking at things like business opportunities and stuff like that. A lot of times what happens is while you're getting acclimated and you're getting ready and you're looking before you're leaping, people like me, we already ran, we already jumped, and guess what? Business is banging. And maybe that window of opportunity is now closed for you because somebody else didn't spend a bunch of time looking. Okay? You can never be 100% ready for anything in your life. Nobody is 100% ready to be a parent. Nobody is 100% ready to get a doctorate degree. Nobody is 100% ready to get a bachelor's degree. Nobody is 100% ready to own a home or start a business or write a book or whatever. You just have to do. Which also kind of brings me to my next point, is a significant portion of the population, like myself, we're kinesthetic learners. Which means we don't learn shit from reading or hearing or whatever. You have auditory learners who can learn by listening. No. You have visual learners who can learn just by seeing. And then you have kinesthetic learners who learn by doing, like myself. So it's actually a lot more effective for a lot of us to leap before we look, because that's how we're going to learn the best. This is great if you can course correct on your feet, and if you can learn how to roll with the punches and modify as you go, you're going to learn as you go too. And regardless of what type of learner you are, everybody learns the best when it comes to retention rate of information. Everybody retains more information by doing. So leap before you look, my friends, okay? And most importantly, and probably the one we're going to spend the most amount of time on today, is that if you are looking before you leap, chances are you're not ever going to leap. I said it. If you are looking before you leap, chances are you are never going to leap. Because when you look before you leap into opportunity, that gives you time to overthink some shit. That gives you time to get anxious about it. That gives you time to wrestle with fear. And that gives your fear and your anxiety and your stress and your low self-esteem and whatever else you have going on, it gives it time to talk back to you. Here's what I mean, all right? So you're standing on that shoreline, right? There are some people who, like myself, if we look before we leap, we will never leap. Because you stand on that shoreline and you're like, oh my goodness, what if the water is super cold? What if the water is super warm? What if there are sharks in the water? What if I step on a stingray and, like, die? What if I step on something sharp and cut open my foot and end up with a weird bacterial disease and then I also die? What if there are, and again, I go back to sharks, they scare me. What if there are alligators, even scarier than sharks because it'll chase me onto the shore? Okay, what if there are crocodiles? That thing could, like, literally eat my head off, all right? What if there's a giant sea snake? What if sea snakes are a real thing? Okay, if you live on a coastline, you know, warm coastline at least, okay? What if I get sucked under by the undercurrent? What if I get sucked up, by some sort of weird underwater vortex? Blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden, I'm not getting in the fucking water. Pardon my French. Sorry, YouTube. Okay. Because I spent time looking before I leapt to overthink some stuff. If you have anxiety, PTSD, any, like, even just good old-fashioned low self-esteem, chances are you're probably an overthinker in some form or fashion. Also, if your childhood predispositioned you or programmed you for negativity and a fear-based mindset, chances are you're an overthinker. People who overthink rarely do. Because you spend so much time thinking and trying to get ready and plan for every possible outcome that you scare the bejesus out of yourself and stop yourself from ever actually doing. The only time in life you should look before you leap is when it comes to toilet paper, my friends, all right? You have to just run and jump into things. I know, big scare, okay? I'm asking you, to do a lot. That sounds very risky and terrifying. And to stay with our like ocean metaphor, you're like, oh my goodness, what if I run and jump and there is an alligator, Ellie, or a shark, or whatever? Keep in mind, from the shark or alligator's perspective in that situation, you are a falling projectile from the sky. And that is just as terrifying for them as it is for you, okay? Nothing in any sort of situation like that, nothing's first instinct is, oh my goodness, this thing fell on top of me, I should eat it, okay? Conveniently for our purposes of this metaphor. So, like, run, jump, okay? The only way to really kind of experience the true depths of the beauty of the ocean of life, to keep in form with our metaphor, is if you run and jump, okay? The person standing on the shore is never going to have the same experiences as the person who runs and jumps into the ocean, all right? The person who runs into and jumps, you know, just runs from the shoreline and jumps into the ocean, is never going to have the same experiences as those of us who are totally crazy pants. We get on the boat, we go out to the middle of the ocean, we put on the scuba gear and see how low we can go, okay? If you want to really experience everything that life has to offer, if you really want to unlock your full potential, if you really want to, you know, experience everything that you possibly can, you have to leap before you look. Every time. There's never going to be a perfect time, okay? Something is always going to come up. Perfect time, first of all, time is a man-made construct, okay? It's not a real thing. Time is literally an invention, okay? I will do some research and maybe we'll talk about that on my next, like, YouTube video. Like, time is not real, guys. It is a man-made construction by businesses to increase productivity and by governments to increase taxpayers. That's what time stems from, okay? I have to double check my facts, because, like, the actual, like, hour-long thing, I think, was invented in, like, 13th, 14th century. I don't remember for sure. I don't want to be wrong. Moral of the story is, like, your 24-hour, like, time clock with your 8-hour workday and all of that kind of stuff was actually invented by, like, Italian ship makers to make it more productive to build ships. Okay? Don't build your life around the right time. It's not a real thing. There's no such thing. You make the right time. Leap before you look. Stop overthinking and start overdoing. Okay? Yeah, okay, you might run out into the ocean and, like, belly flop and, like, whatever, but it's going to be a learning experience. You might run and jump and, like, have, like, some sort of startled shark, like, clamp down, but sharks don't actually eat people. It's gonna let go. Whatever. Chances are you're gonna live, okay? Everybody has had points in their life where we thought something was going to kill us. We thought we weren't going to make it out. We thought that this was it. We thought life was over. Maybe it was the ending of a relationship that absolutely devastated you. Maybe it was dealing with some sort of trauma, like a car accident or an assault or a break-in. Maybe you flunked out of college. Maybe you got fired from a job. Everybody has had this super low point. And you know what? You survived. Because that's what we do as a species. Like, we're like cockroaches with overinflated egos and low self-esteem, okay? We always survive. We always come back. So you have to keep that in mind. Even if you do fail at something, chances are you're not going to be any worse off than when you started. Like, you're already not making the amount of money that you want to make. You're already not living in the house that you want to live in. You're already, like, worried about your relationship and having trust issues or some sort of something there. Or maybe you're not in a relationship at all and you want to be in one. You're already afraid of what would happen if your water heater goes out or your car breaks down because you don't have enough in savings. You really don't have anything to lose. So leap. Go for the gold. If you want to hit your financial goals, go into sales. I know, dirty word, sales. Leap before you look, okay? Fastest, easiest, get rich quick scheme in the United States is to get into car sales. Go work for a car dealership and sell cars. It's the fastest, easiest way to get rich quick. And it's legit and it works, okay? I know car salesman has a bad reputation. Who cares? No matter what you do in life, all right? Somebody's gonna have something yucky to say about it, all right? Take it from me. I'm the dildo lady. Okay? Who cares? The dildo lady is also fancy and bougie and impulsively bought sparkly ears. I mean, granted, they were $3, but whatever. I also, like, I mean, tattoos alone, I spend too much money for the average person. So, leap before you look. Go do. Find the solution. Stop being obstacle-oriented and start being solution-oriented. Okay? Chances are there is something that nags at you. For me, it was my book. I would be something that I would constantly have in the back of my mind. It would come up periodically or randomly throughout the day. It would come up in my dreams.